In this episode, we talk about the rising cases of corneal blindness in India and the steps being taken by the government with regards to that. We also talk about the money that Indians lost to cybercrime in the first quarter of the year. But first, we talk about a case of violence between the villagers and the police in Chhattisgarh. Hi, I am Niharika Nanda and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. Last week, violence broke out in Chhattisgarh's Hasdeo forest between the villagers and the police, leaving 13 police personnel injured.
On October 17, the forest officials, they resumed the work of cutting trees in Hasdeo forest to make way for mining of coal.
That's Indian Express's Jaiprakash S. Naidu.
This enraged the villagers who, after getting information that there will be tree cutting, a lot of them gathered overnight, and in the morning when the tree cutting began, a lot of villagers clashed with the police.
In this segment, Jaiprakash helps us understand why the villagers reacted the way they did and the environmental and mining-related significance of Hasdeo forest. Jaiprakash, to begin with, can you tell us about the incident that happened last week, the police personnel who were injured, and were there any cases filed?
This led to 13 police personnel getting injured, and few more government servants, from the forest and the revenue department also got injured. But specifically 2 police personnel, they suffered arrow injuries. One constable, Bholaram Rajwade, he suffered an arrow injury on his leg and he had to be put through a surgery. And then another police officer, Asha Tirki, she suffered an arrow injury on her head and she was administered with stitches. After this, the police registered an FIR for murder attempt and rioting and identified 10 villagers and have booked more. So nobody has been arrested so far.
Right, but what is the kind of significance that Hasdeo forest holds in Chhattisgarh?
Yeah, so the forest is spread across 1,879 square kilometers. This is across 3 districts, Sarguja, Korba and Surajpur. And this part, it is a smaller part of the larger northern tribal belt of Chhattisgarh. Just to give you an idea, Hasdeo forest will be about 3 times the size of Greater Mumbai. As per the Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education, ICFRE, which comes under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Hasdeo Aranya is the largest unfragmented forest in central India, consisting of pristine sal and teak forests. As per a 2021 Wildlife Institute of India report, which was made over a period of 2 years, there are 9 species in Hasdeo which come under the special protection of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Also, there are 92 species of birds in Hasdeo, 25 different mammals, 16 types of snakes. It's a habitat as well as a corridor for elephants and also a corridor for tigers. There are some 640 floral species, 128 medicinal plants and 40 timber yielding species of plants in Hasdeo.
And why is it so important when it comes to mining?
Yes, so there are 3 coal blocks that were awarded to Rajasthan government so that, they can do the coal mining and use the coal to generate electricity in Rajasthan. And this protest have been going on since 2012. So in 2022, when the then Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot, had visited Chhattisgarh government and met the then Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel, both from the Congress government. So at that time, Gehlot had come to meet Baghel to request clearance for phase 2 mining of Parsa East Ketebasan, PEKB coal block. So at that time, Gehlot had spoken with the media. And he had said that there will be an unimaginable crisis in Rajasthan if it does not get coal from Chhattisgarh to generate electricity. He said their power plants will shut down. So soon after Gehlot's visit, the clearance was granted for phase 2 of mining for the Parsa East Ketebasan coal block.
But if it's so significant as far as mining is concerned, why is it facing the kind of opposition that it is facing from the villagers?
There are multiple concerns. One is the environment concern, second is the livelihood concern, third is the compensation concern, fourth is the relocation concern. Because many tribals, they believe in nature. For them, nature is their god. So the local villagers, they are of the opinion that it will destroy their villages, it will destroy the forest cover around their villages, and it will hit their livelihood, which completely depends on farming and forest produce. Some villagers I personally spoke with were also unhappy with the compensation they got and the resettlement offer that was made by the government. They were being sent to another village where they were made to live in smaller houses, and currently the place where they live in, they have these large houses. So they do not want to move.
Right. And Jayaprakash, what is the demographic of the people who live in the area and what are their acquisitions?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, this whole Hasdev forest is a part of the northern tribal belt of Chhattisgarh, with the southern tribal belt being the Naxal affected Bastar region. So the villagers over here have also alleged that, fake Gram Sabha resolution documents have been made for the Salhi village, Hariharpur village, and then this was used to obtain environment clearance for the Parsa coal block. They also allege that fake Gram Sabha was conducted in Ghatbara for land acquisition for the phase 2 of PEKB coal block. So these are the claims that have been made by the villagers and they are not happy about how things are going.
And if we talk about coal mining that is happening there right now, what is its current status?
Yes, so the current flashpoint or the current issue which has arisen in Hasdev is the tree cutting that has been started for the Parsa coal block. So they want the tree cutting in Parsa coal block to be stopped, as well as the tree cutting in Kete extension, which is going to begin soon. So this is the issue right now, and at present the mining process for PEKB phase 2, Parsa and Kete extension is going on. In 2012, a total of 1,898.328 hectares of forest land was given for mining for PEKB. So the first phase on 762 hectares has been completed in 2022. And after Ashok Gehlot interfered, the clearance was given for phase 2 of mining. So as far as Parsa coal block is concerned, the tree cutting has started. And for Kete extension, it's still to start.
And Jayaprakash, what does the government and the opposition have to say about this entire situation?
As far as the BJP is concerned, we did try to contact them, but they didn't give us a fresh statement. But I did speak to a senior BJP leader. His name is Sanjay Srivastav. So speaking with the Indian Express, Sanjay Srivastav, a senior BJP leader in Chhattisgarh, had said the BJP government stand is very clear. The people there must get proper provisions so that they do not face any kind of losses. Government will give attention to this. Many times for extremely important things, the government has to take a step forward, but the BJP government will move forward only with the people's consent. This is what Srivastav had said. On October 17 and 18, when close to 5,800 trees were cut for Parsa coal block, the opposition leader Rahul Gandhi had raised the issue. He posted on social media, the attempt to forcibly embezzle the forest and land of the tribals through violent use of police force in Hasdev Aranya is a violation of the fundamental rights of the tribals.
Right. Jayaprakash, how many trees have been planted to compensate for the tree cutting in the PEKB coal block?
So as per official information, so far between 2012 to March 2024, a total of 11.65 lakh trees have been planted and a total of 96,042 trees have been cut officially for PEKB since 2012. However, activists claim the real figure is over 1.5 lakh. For the Parsa coal block, close to 5,800 trees have been cut on October 17, October 18. The work of cutting trees for Kete extension has not begun, but activists claim around 9 lakh more trees will be cut for the 3 coal blocks awarded to Rajasthan.
Next, we talk about one of the most common reasons for blindness in India. Corneal blindness has become one of the leading causes for blindness in the country. Under the age of 50, corneal blindness accounts for 37.5% of all the cases. But at the same time, it is also one which can be rectified by transplanting the dome-shaped layer of the eye with another healthy one. Keeping that in mind, the government has started focusing on cornea donation. Before COVID-19, in 2019-2020, India had registered 65,417 cornea donations. However, post the pandemic, the number went down to 32,414 in 2022-2023. This is according to the data from the National Program for Control of Blindness and Visual Impairment. To understand how cornea donation can be increased and the kind of significance it holds, as far as the cases for blindness are concerned, we have Indian Express's Anona Dutt joining us. Anona, can you explain to us the gravity of the situation which makes cornea donation so necessary?
So when it comes to blindness in India, corneal blindness is actually one of the most common reasons, especially when it comes to people under the age of 50 years. So, almost 40% of the blindness in people under the age of 50 is from, damage to the cornea. Even for those above the age of 50 with different age-related diseases, even then 8.2% of the blindness in people above the age of 50 years is because of corneal damage. And other than that, if we look at just the sheer numbers, there are about 50,000 new cases of corneal blindness every year. And, we need about 1 lakh cornea transplants, to prevent these cases of blindness. These are preventable. So that is why we need it. First, because corneal blindness is a big challenge. And second, it can be cured. Corneal damage can see again with the help of cornea transplant.
Right. And can you talk to us about the current organ donation procedure in India?
So when it comes to cornea, just like any other organ in the country, it can be donated by a deceased person's family. They can sign a consent form which allows the doctors in the hospital, or even in some cases technicians who come to home, to remove the tissue. Unlike, organs such as liver or lungs, a person need not have an active blood supply. So even if they have had, their heart has stopped working, their corneas can still be donated. And again, for that, the families have to consent. This is known as the opt-in method, where after the death of a person, the family chooses to say that, yes, we want to donate their cornea. However, the government now is considering an opt-out method. What it essentially means is anybody who dies at the hospital, they are presumed to be a cornea donor. And if they do not want to donate the cornea, then they or their families can withdraw the consent before death, or, when all the procedures after death is taking place, they can say that, no, we do not want to donate the cornea. That is the opt-out method.
Right. And why is there a sudden push given towards cornea donation?
So the first thing is that cornea donation helps only the people with corneal damage, and there are a lot of cases. So for example, we see cases of cornea damage during Diwali actually. If some firework goes into the eye, there can be a burn and there can be a cornea damage. And then there are other diseases that sort of start affecting the cornea, and with time it gets damaged. So, like I said, it is a major chunk of the blindness, and these people can really, benefit a lot from a cornea donation. That is why we need these corneas. But however, we are not able to do two things. One is harvest enough corneas, first of all. And then even when we do harvest the corneas, we are not able to utilize 100% of them, even though we have such a dearth of corneas in the country.
You also had a word with some doctors and medical experts. So what did they have to say regarding this?
So first of all, the medical professionals, of course, think that this is a good idea to drive up the number of corneal donations, because, when a person has passed away, that's not the first thing that comes to mind. So a lot of families, if they are not asked, they might not even think about it, even though they would be open to donating it. Secondly, there is a waiting list for people who need these corneas. So if it goes up, of course, the patients would be helped. So, of course, all the medical professionals have supported this idea. However, when it comes to an organ or tissue donation, there is a lot of sentiments attached to it. So, people don't necessarily want the body of a loved one to be touched or any organ removed because of certain sentiments or religious, bindings. So that is something which will have to be kept in mind when we do change the law to actually use the opt-out method. But of course, the health professionals do think it's a good idea to increase the numbers.
I think in that case, more awareness would be required as far as the opt-out method is concerned. That is, of course, if the law is changed. Because what needs to be kept in mind is that the general public might not be aware of it and its consequences. So, in some cases, people might take offense, or as you mentioned, some people might not want the body to be touched or handled.
Definitely. So there would have to be a lot of counseling of people and just making them aware of what exactly cornea donation is. So, cornea was chosen among all the other organs. So for all the other organs, it would still be an opt-in method where the patient's family says that yes, we want to donate the organs, that is because of, a few key reasons. First of all, cornea is something that can be harvested very easily, like I mentioned. It can even be done at your home with the help of a trained professional. Secondly, it does not change the appearance of a person. So even though you would be removing the cornea, there won't be any scars, there won't be any changes to their appearance at all. That is another important thing. Thirdly, it also does not affect any medico-legal cases. So, for example, if there is a medico-legal case, then you cannot remove the organs because those organs are actually evidence which can provide clues to what has happened. It is known as the viscera sample. So those samples are analyzed. However, cornea is unlikely to give any important medico-legal information per se, and hence can be removed, even before the dead body is sent for postmortem, which is another reason why the opt-out method can work for cornea donation.
Right. And Anuna, what kind of data do we have as far as the people who require the transplants are concerned? And is there any effort being made towards improving the utilization of the donated corneas?
So, like I mentioned, these would be people who have some sort of corneal damage, which has resulted in blindness. And, right now, when we look at people who need corneas, there are individual lists maintained by, say, some eye banks or some hospitals. But right now, the Apex Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization, NOTO, is trying to create a comprehensive database of people who are waiting for these transplants, so that, these cornea which is harvested can be allocated based on that. So, for example, if a hospital harvests the cornea, they would have the first right over it. So, any patient in their hospital who needs the transplant will be able to get it. If they do not have a patient fitting the profile, then it can go to a patient in the state, then a patient in the same region, or then a patient anywhere else in the country. So they're trying to create this register so that, there's a protocol in place to allocate the corneas and better utilize them, so that any cornea that is not utilized in one center is effectively sent to another center that can utilize it, depending on the patient profile and the kind of cornea that they have. The second thing is centers like AIIMS or other advanced, tertiary care centers have newer methods, newer equipment to utilize corneas. So even if, some smaller center cannot utilize a particular cornea, it can be utilized for a different set of people with a different procedure by a center like, say, AIIMS. Then the third step is something that AIIMS is already doing. So for cornea transplants, they actually, instead of using the whole cornea for one patient, they actually slice it up into thin layers and utilize it for 2 to 3 patients. So they help more patients with one single cornea. And other than that, of course, the government is also looking at ways to, develop cheaper and indigenously made storage mediums so that it can be properly stored when the corneas are taken to the eye bank.
And in the end, we talk about Indians becoming victim to cybercrimes. On Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted that Indians lost rupees 120.30 crore in digital arrest frauds in the first quarter of this year alone, government cybercrime data shows. According to the Ministry of Home Affairs, which monitors cybercrimes at the central level through Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, I4C, digital arrests have of late become a prevalent method of digital fraud. Many of those carrying out these frauds are based in 3 Southeast Asian countries, Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia. In its analysis of trends from January to April, the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, I4C, found that 46% of the cyber frauds reported in this period, in which the victims cumulatively lost an estimated rupees 1,776 crore, originated in these 3 countries. National Cybercrime Reporting Portal NCRP data shows 7.4 lakh complaints were made between 1st January and 30th April this year, while 15.56 lakh complaints were received in all of 2023. According to I4C, there are 4 types of scams: digital arrests, trading scams, investment scams, and romance or dating scams. Chief Executive Officer of I4C, Rajesh Kumar, had said, while releasing the January to April data in May, that they had found that Indians lost rupees 120.30 crore in digital arrests, rupees 1,420.48 crore in trading scams, rupees 222.58 crore in investment scams, and rupees 13.23 crore in romance or dating-related scams. In digital arrests, potential victims would get a call in which the caller would tell them that they had sent or were the intended recipients of a parcel containing illegal goods, drugs, fake passports, or other contraband. In some cases, relatives or friends of the target would be told that the target had been found to be involved in a crime. Once they had the target, who would be chosen carefully in their net, the criminals would contact them over Skype or other video calling platforms. They would pose as law enforcement officers, often wearing uniforms and calling from places resembling police stations or government offices, and demand money for a compromise or closure of the case. In certain cases, the victims were digitally arrested, which meant that they were forced to stay visible to the frauds until their demands had been met. I4C zeroed in on Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia after analyzing data on its NCRP inputs received from states and union territories and some open source information. Kumar said, and I quote, "The cybercrime operations based in these countries employ a comprehensive array of deceptive strategies, including recruitment efforts by exploiting social media to lure Indians with fake employment opportunities." You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and produced by me, Niharika Nanda. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.